Somebody on the boat told us we looked 25, and I was like, oh, thanks. And then Jeremy's like, Rachel, they were just being nice.
Yeah, no
And I was
kidding.
like, oh,
Yeah.
really?
All right, you ready?
It's like when the hygienist says my teeth hygiene is really good. She says that to everybody.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
I'll bring
right.
that up later. Oh, I got to clap.
Oh.
When I don't remember, it's hard to sing it. Harder.
Okay, sure. Whatever that means. Thank you for that smattering of applause.
Every time.
And welcome to Due to Underwhelming Demand, the podcast, the King Charles, actually, of podcasts, because, it's something nobody wants or needs. So,
with big puffy hands.
Here we are.
Like the rest of the world's entertainers, we did not attend either.
We didn't go either. And we are Dave, Rachel, and Forman.
You're right about his big, meaty mitts.
He does have meaty mitts.
And the whole controversy of how he's trying to hide them from his official portrait.
Yes, because he's always got his hands in his pockets or behind his back now.
Man, they're big balloons.
Has he got
they are, but I feel badly that he's been shamed into hiding them,
Has he got the ham hands?
Oh, yeah. He's got ham hands.
I didn't know
Huge, that. Like, they're so obvious, too.
Like bright red, gin-soaked hands.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one.
That's the queen. She liked gin.
Yeah.
I don't know what he drinks.
I'm pretty sure the same.
Twice as much, probably.
Twice as much.
He's got that skin tone to him.
Yeah.
One for each hand.
Okay. Well, that was fun. All right, here we go. In case you hear a little bit of noise in the background, by the way, there's construction going on in my house.
Inside and out.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well, no, I don't know if they're digging again. They could be back. I don't know.
Okay, so they haven't been back since last time.
No, they haven't been back since last time, but
outside.
I'm expecting them. So at any time.
Yeah, they'll be back.
You
have a lot of construction going on in your house.
Yeah, we're doing some renovations that involve our laundry room. Right now, our laundry room and our ensuite bathroom. So the laundry room in our home was the worst laundry room known to man. Like just there was
seen
no.
It. I didn't think it was that bad.
It's nothing. It's like it was this teeny tiny, and it was the way that we walked into our house all the time.
Right.
Because we have a garage, and the door to the garage from the garage into the house goes straight through the laundry room, and so there was a washer, a dryer, a tub, and a closet, and no room, and doors banging into one another, and like just the teeny tiny. So
yeah, it wasn't huge.
I know. So something needed. I don't know how it got built that way. We've been in this house for 16 years and coped with it, but we always knew it's too small. It's so we're having it enlarged, which means they're taking some room from our ensuite, which was probably a little too big anyway.
Must be nice.
Well,
you
I
have
don't
ensuite room to spare.
Yeah,
la-di-da.
I don't have that.
First world problem.
Yeah, really.
So this began more than a couple of weeks ago, and they're doing this work again. There's some work going on today, so it's literally they've moved a wall now. It's stripped down to the bare walls. Everything's stripped right down, and like the ceiling's gone.
You got no drywall. Yeah.
No,
everything. The studs.
Everything's being redone. And then they got to move pipes, and they got to, because the toilet's moving, and they got all kinds of stuff. The washer and dryer where they used to be are moving, so you got to repipe all of that, and you got to have a drain, and you got to do. There's a lot of work that's involved, and when you're doing a bathroom or a laundry room, what happens is they have to turn the water off a lot.
Yeah.
Which would be fine with me if I was at work and the
Not
weather.
home somehow.
Yeah, the weather here has not exactly been stellar over the last.
Golfing weather.
Oh,
for you.
It's been
No.
brutally. It's cold. It's rain. I think it's rained for the last week here. Like it was just.
Yeah,
It's
been
going
miserable.
to. As we record this and you hear this, it's probably a beautiful day, but it's been lousy.
It has.
And so I'm like in the wintertime, I'm stuck indoors. I'm stuck in the house. And I try to exercise and I try to drink my water. And that's a bad idea when you don't have a toilet. Let me just tell you.
You don't have any toilet? You have you have a bathroom you can use.
Yes, when the water's on, Rachel.
Oh, right. When the water's on. Yeah, when
the water's on, Rachel, you have a toilet.
Mm.
When the water's off, you do not. Now, I would like to say that I have a private area in my backyard because, as Forman can attest, there are many ways that you can. The appropriate word here would be relieve yourself of any
whatever
issues.
you need to.
Yeah, through the slats in your fence that goes into the boo hag's backyard.
Yes. Oh, if only if only that was possible, but it is not.
She wasn't always peering through those
That's
slats
right.
in the fence.
That's the last thing I need. So I'm trying to figure out at one point. I was like, okay, well, I know that pretty soon, and I kept checking the water. No, it's still off. What am I going to do? So thankfully, we have a mall nearby. So I
you went to the mall.
Yeah, I one day I walked to the mall, and by the time I got there, I really had to go.
In your slacks and your Velcro shoes.
That's right. Then another time, I've driven twice.
My Nana always wore slacks.
Twice to the mall. Twice to the mall. I had to drive. And then when you're doing a project like this, not only does the water get turned off, but also the power.
No.
Oh boy.
You should not be home. You are like a blight on the construction process.
It's not my fault that I'm home.
These guys show up here every day, and they're like, "That guy's still here.
Yeah, why is he here all day?"
This guy comes in last week, and he says, "Hey, hi, Dave. Have you showered yet?" I said, "No, I'll hurry."
Yeah.
Was it that obvious?
Yeah.
I'll hurry
We're
up.
turning off the water. So
Yeah.
get done what you need done.
Yeah. So I'm having a couple of friends over on the weekend. We want to, there's hockey to watch and all of this stuff. And
I didn't get an invite. Did you, Rachel?
No, well, I'd invite you. You're invited, Foreman. If you can get here.
Yeah, right.
If you can get
airfare included.
He knows I don't give one shit.
So anyway, I have some friends coming over, and I think the Kentucky Derby is on, and I think it's all
time.
as we record this, and of course there's hockey playoffs and everything else. And he now has decided, because he knows that there's construction, I'm not coming. I said, why? What? He said, well, what if I have to pee? What if I want to watch hockey? I said, yeah, don't bother coming.
I was going to say, why are you inviting people over in the middle of a construction zone?
I don't think it's a good idea to do that.
No, so he failed.
It's a very bad idea. This is Due to Underwhelming Demand, a podcast with Dave, Rachel, and Forman, the Toronto Maple Leafs of podcasts. We already said that because somehow, believe it or not, we're both still going.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Well, I don't know. At the time this comes out, it might be all over.
It could be. Yeah.
I hope.
It could be.
You do? Oh, you're a Sens fan.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg!
Snoop Dogg.
We were watching the Leafs in Mexico because we got back a couple weeks ago, actually.
Must be nice.
Well,
I know.
Isn't this the second time you went away?
Yes, it is.
Must be very
Wow.
nice.
I know. It's nice to be us, but I don't like to tell people that because it's not normal for us to do 2 vacations in like 4 months. This year we both turned 40. Jeremy and I, my husband and I, Jeremy, and it's our 15th wedding anniversary, and we've been together for 20 years, and so we've been together for half our lives. So it's kind of a big year for us, and so we thought, well, we've got to go somewhere and celebrate, and we would rather spend money on a trip than like buy each other things. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, and when you say that you've been together for half your lives, does that
we started dating when we were 20?
Yeah. Does that make
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. We're
Just
old.
Just wonder.
I don't feel 40. I'm not 40 yet. I will be at the end of May.
No, you're in your 40th year. You're 40.
Okay. Well, I don't feel
almost 41st.
You're almost 41.
I don't feel like I should be 40. Right.
Okay, good.
And I remember my dad always saying, gosh, it goes by so fast. Like, he's like, I remember being 40 and you were this age. And, I thought, well, when Rachel's 40, I'm going to be this age and and now that's happened. And I can't believe it goes by so fast. And I'm like, yeah. And he's always said that to me. And now that I'm 40, I'm like, wow. Yeah,
I remember being a kid and ruining my dad's surprise 40th birthday party.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
because
you ruined it?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
I was told about it, and I went upstairs and said, Dad, they're throwing you a party. And then he had to stand there.
Such a little shit.
Oh, yeah. He had to stand there and look surprised as all the neighbors and friends started showing up. Oh, gee, wow.
It was that day?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. So did they not tell you until the day of because they knew you would ruin it?
Yeah. Did it anyway.
That's so funny. Anyway, so Jeremy and I went to Mexico and so we're coming back and we're on the plane. And I don't know if you've ever had a terrible seatmate beside you on the plane, but there's always horror stories of people you sit beside, or horror stories of passengers on planes and da-da-da.
I've flown with you a couple of times.
That's not. I didn't even sit with you, actually.
That's a very funny joke.
Maybe they made you sit on the other side because they were trying. They were trying to balance. They were trying to balance the plane,
and I tried to move, and they wouldn't let me. Oh. I know. I was sitting in the very back of the plane, and Dave is in a seat up ahead with nobody beside him, and nobody's beside me, but I'm in the back corner of the plane, and I'm like, I'm just gonna move, and they're like, no, we need you in the back. Because it balances the weight. And I'm like, excuse me.
Wow. Ouch.
And that was pre-Kendall, so I was not fat.
Anyway.
I know. But there was another man in the other corner, so I was like, all right, fine.
Okay.
Anyway, remember the one time we went on a plane and I had I brought back lobster from Halifax? Dave loved that.
Nobody wanted to sit with you then.
Well, I sat with you. Yeah. Anyway, so if you sat beside someone horrible, maybe you can relate to this. Because Jeremy and I are on the plane. We're coming home and we're in a weird seat because there's three and three on each side, right?
Yeah.
So there's three in a seat, but in front of us it was only 2 seats because that was an exit row. Mm-hmm. And so actually the window seat had no seat in front of it. So the window seat person had tons of leg room because they didn't have a seat in front of them. So Jeremy and I were in the seats with 2 seats in front of us on the aisle and middle. And so nobody was in the seat. And we were like, oh, this is great. And everybody's on the plane. And so Jeremy's like, well, I'm going to sit over there. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Yes. Of course.
Sure.
And on the row beside us, it was the same setup. And they also didn't have anybody. So we were kind of like thumbs up to them. And they were like, yeah. So we were all kind of spread out, which was great. So then they're calling a passenger. And there's apparently one passenger who's not on the plane yet. So they're calling this person in the airport, like, your plane's going to leave.
Oh, wow.
And so the flight attendant comes over and she asks Jeremy, is this your name? And he's like, no, that's not my name. And he's like, but this isn't my seat. She's like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking, God damn it. This person is going to come on the plane and sit right beside us. Well, that sucks. We don't get the extra space, right? But whatever, you're always kind of shoved in there, so you're always with people. Anyways, this guy gets on the plane. So he labors onto the plane and comes in the seat and he sits down and he's got a bag with a bunch of bags in it and starts talking to me right away. He's like, oh, I was just telling somebody in the airport how to cook these.
What's he got?
And he's got in his hand shrimp tempura in a container that he's brought to eat on the plane. And I was like, oh, are you a chef? And he goes, well, in my mind, I am.
Oh God.
So now you know how the conversation is.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
And you guys know me. I can talk to anyone. Mm-hmm. I can talk to anybody. I can make any conversation work. If I can't talk to you, it's your fault. So this guy is I'm talking to him, and Jeremy's kind of rolling his eyes because he knows I get into conversations with people that I regret, which happens. So he's telling me that he thinks he's a chef, and he's like, but I had a food, I would sell people food at a market every weekend. I said, oh, okay. He's like, so I made fish all the time. So I was telling these guys at some airport restaurant how to cook their fish, which I'm sure they loved.
And it made him late for your flight.
He's late for the plane, and they're calling him because he can't help not talk. So then he offers us shrimp tempura. We're like, no, we don't want it.
How did it smell, by the way?
Yeah,
it smelled like shrimp tempura. Like, it's not like I wouldn't bring fish onto an airplane.
No,
cooked fish. Generally, like to eat, right? It's like
but you're
warming up fish in the microwave at work.
Gladly brought lobster onto it.
Yes, I did do that. That was
that's
frozen,
like
though. You
frozen.
don't even smell them. Yeah. Anyway, so then he starts telling me about his the market thing that he had, and he's like, "Well, I don't do that anymore." And he says, "But now I write poetry and lyrics, song lyrics." I said, "Oh."
That's okay. That's who I want to beside.
Now I'm thinking, oh my God! Like I almost said, well, I worked in radio. I was kind of I was like, do not engage. Stop engaging right now. That. So then I'm like, okay, and he's like, but I'm going home now because there's a lot of criminals in that business. And I was like, oh yeah, do they rip off your songs? He's like, yeah. I'm going home now to start lawsuits against people who ripped. And I was like, okay. And he's like, also, I'm going to start a lawsuit against my ex-wife. Because
Did you have Ed Sheeran on the plane with you?
Yeah, really. Like,
did he co-write Let's Get It On?
No.
What's happening?
No, he did not. And then he's like, I'm gonna start a lawsuit against my ex-wife because I don't recall marrying her at all. I don't remember it. And I was like, what? Okay, so then I take out.
Wait a minute.
I don't know. I was like, well, I'm done. At
Do
this
not
moment,
recall my own wedding.
I would.
I don't recall. Yeah.
I'm not done when he says something like that. I'm intrigued. I don't know how you're done.
Almost intrigued, but then he said something. Well, she fancies herself the best Latin American singer in the world, and I was like,
"What the fuck?
Who are you sitting next to?"
No. Okay, now I want to know what you think this guy looks like. What do you think he looks like?
He's large.
Well, he was tall, but he wasn't like fat. Right?
Oh, okay. I'm just picturing Del Griffith, a shower curtain ring guy. From Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Does he take his shoes and socks off?
He took his sandals off. Yes, he did.
I'm right.
So he had bare feet.
He had bare feet on the plane, which was another point that really pissed me off.
He's John Candy.
Get your fucking shoes on.
Yeah. Does he look like John Candy at all?
No, he doesn't look like John Candy. He had blonde hair in a ponytail.
But he was bald on top?
No, he wasn't. He was graying on top. Graying on top, but the rest of it was blonde in a ponytail. Probably about 60 years old-ish. Wearing sandals. I think a bathing suit and like
Hawaiian shirt.
No, but he probably had that in his bag. That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, this guy was like, so then I just picked up my phone and I started playing a game, and I got my AirPods and I put them in. I was like, okay, like I'm done talking to this guy now. Like,
this is what that means. Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, you playing a game?" I said, "Yep, playing a game." Headphones in. Like, that was the end of that, because I thought, I do not want to talk to this guy anymore. Then he pulls out his little journal that he writes his poetry and lyrics in, and he starts writing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Jeremy is secretly trying to read it across the aisle, across the seat. So, because I'm in the middle, right beside this guy, and Jeremy's on the aisle.
Of course, he could be writing about you.
While he was writing, he said, "I'm on a plane eating shrimp tempura." It was like, that's what he was writing. But don't steal those, because you'll get a lawsuit. Don't steal those lyrics.
Okay.
It was the worst. It was the worst. I was just so happy to be off the plane and away from that guy. Oh my god. You
need to do. Don't you remember we were coming back from somewhere? Nashville? Maybe? Many years ago, you and I, and we were flying, and the lady that sat in my seat, and the minute she sat down in the open seat, I turned to her and said, "Do not talk to me." I do not.
You did. Yes.
I do not.
And I was so horrified that you said that, because she was just like, okay.
I am not in the mood to talk. Don't bother
me. She was like so normal. Like you can tell the people you don't want to talk to, I think.
I was only kidding.
Like you see this guy coming.
That's pretty funny, Forman. Trust me, that's funny. when you bombard the person with, "Hey,
oh my God,
don't you even open your mouth? Don't talk to me." Don't talk to me.
I wish I'd said it to this guy.
Don't talk to me.
Rachel's beside retired classic rock Buddy the Elf.
Yes.
In a store, and he's singing.
That's right. That's right. Oh my God. The other lyrics were like, I met a woman in Mexico and da-da-da-da. It's just like, oh my God.
This is Due to Underwhelming Demand, the podcast that lives up to no one's expectations, nor should it.
Well, no one asked for it.
No, exactly.
There was literally no demand.
There
was so little demand that it was underwhelming.
That's right. Therefore, that's what we call it. We're Dave, Rachel, and Forman.
Yeah, much like Gwyneth Paltrow's commentary on literally anything. Oh. No demand for it.
No demand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a big fan.
Comment on a lot.
Not a big fan of the Gloop lady.
Gloop?
Isn't it Gloop? I don't know. What's
Goop.
It? Oh, Goop. Whatever.
Goop.
Yeah.
Gloop. Group. Whatever.
I was mildly entertained with her whole courtroom situation with the guy who she ran into while skiing.
That was so weird. What a weird.
The whole thing was weird. Yeah. And she won that.
Mm-hmm. She did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But now she's been on somebody else's podcast. Did you know there are others?
Other podcasts?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I was aware there
were they asked for?
She was asked about her exes. And that includes...
she's had a lot of famous exes.
But specifically, that includes Chris Martin from Coldplay, who she was married to. Mm-hmm. And then what was she? They were consciously uncoupling.
Yes. They consciously uncoupled.
They ungooped.
She's also dated Brad Pitt.
Oh, yes.
And Ben Affleck.
Oh, I forgot about Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So she was asked... and I can put the clip in later here, but she was asked about who is the better lover, and had a glowing review, like just passionate, caught up in the moment, love of your life, rave reviews for Brad Pitt.
Oh, really?
Love of your life kind of thing.
That's like every woman's dream. Brad Pitt, love of your life, right?
And she confirmed that at the time. Can confirm.
Okay.
So she says.
Okay. Oh, that's all right. All right.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Different story.
Why?
Oh, okay.
She rated him as he was technically excellent.
Technically excellent.
That's high praise.
What does that mean?
I think that's high praise. I think that means exactly what you think it means.
I think it means something different than what you think it means.
I don't want someone to be technical, but the excellent part sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, then she followed it up playing a game of. She played a game of F, Marry, Kill, and she would marry Chris Martin again.
Okay.
Right.
She would F Brad Pitt,
mm-hmm.
and she would kill Ben Affleck.
Okay.
So technically excellent, maybe isn't as excellent as you think.
Yeah, but I think that depends on what you want to be technically excellent.
Well, at Lovemaking specifically, he was technically excellent.
I think that maybe
would lead me to believe that a lot of the right what's the best way to put that? A lot of the right buttons were pushed.
Technically?
Sure.
Excellent.
Maybe in that case, though, there's not the chemistry, right? With Brad Pitt, I think that probably they had lots of chemistry, and it was like a whirlwind thing, and that's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Maybe with Brad Pitt it wasn't so, or I mean with Ben Affleck it wasn't so chemistry.
Yeah, big problem.
But
I think technically excellent is a nice way of saying something bad.
See,
I don't think it's bad.
I don't
but
either.
I don't think it's the best.
It's not great.
Technically excellent.
Technically in front of any word means I'm biting my tongue because this review kind of sucks.
Right. Well, I mean, J-Lo must really think that Ben Affleck is pretty great.
She might remove the word technically.
She got married to him after being engaged twice.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. Because, see, we've all learned here on this podcast where we learn things that...
Yes.
Because we learn all of our things.
I have been rated as making somebody else quite content.
Right.
Yeah, see,
which rates well ahead of technically excellent.
Wait a second.
You think quite content is ahead of technically
excellent?
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite content.
How does Forman stack up against Gwyneth Paltrow's Lovers?
Yeah. See, quite.
They are whirlwind romance, love of your life, technically excellent.
I'm excluding Brad Pitt.
Quite content. Oh, it's just you and
just
and
it's
Ben
technically excellent versus quite content. Quite content wins in a landslide.
No, I don't think so, because
I don't know if
I think if you were
is not better than excellent.
I think if you put technically content
together,
that sucks.
That would suck. But if you put
okay, but see, here's the difference.
Quite excellent in, that doesn't work either.
No.
So two wrongs.
Quite excellent is better than technically excellent, though.
Yes.
No, I don't think quite excellent. I
quite
think
technically rules.
No, quite excellent isn't full on. It's just
here's the problem.
It's quite excellent. It's not 100% excellent.
Yeah.
Just quite excellent. Quite is the word that really bothers me about this whole thing.
That's quite excellent. Is like how in Britain they would say, "Oh, quite right, quite right." Yeah,
yes.
You know, like
yes.
quite excellent. Yes, yeah. Right. It's kind of. It's not great. It's not great. Here's the problem with the whole thing: is that technically excellent describes him, right? But quite content describes how she feels. So it's just you're describing different things.
Yes, but
now we're calling Forman's wife to give her a live review on our podcast.
Available. Technically, excellent means when we're talking about what we're talking about here, I think it's not bad. There's a technical aspect to that, but there's also more of the but Brad Pitt was a completely different animal.
Well, Brad Pitt was the love of your life, like big romance, right? Like that's and that seems way better than technically excellent.
Yes. But to me, quite excellent isn't as good as technically excellent.
We're getting Ashley in here. The Forman's turned off his camera. Okay,
the camera's off.
Is she there?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no camera. We can't see you, but okay, just.
Okay, Ashley's gonna sit down and be right up to the mic.
Okay. Ashley.
Right. Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Can you tell us, in your opinion, which one is better? If you're technically excellent or quite content?
Oh gosh. Okay, technically excellent or quite content?
And we're talking about
how Forman stacks up to Gwyneth Paltrow's Lovers.
Is he? Because we've heard you are
quite content.
You're quite content.
I think quite content is better.
See,
I told you.
No, I changed my mind now that I know that's what he said. Technically excellent.
That's right. I knew she'd change her mind. That's my favorite.
That's so funny.
Technically excellent that you're quite content.
That's right.
Very good. Okay, I like that.
All right. That's a very good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay, Forman. You win. Kind of. This is Due to Underwhelming Demand, the podcast with Dave, Rachel, and Forman. Before we pack things up, read maybe some comments or emails and other things, I wanted to just quickly sort of acknowledge Gordon Lightfoot, the late great Gordon Lightfoot, who passed away recently within the last little while. If you, for me, Gordon Lightfoot, if you are in the radio business, and I started in the radio business in the late 70s and through the 80s and all of that stuff, I mean, you played a lot of Gordon Lightfoot. It just didn't matter what your format was, you played a lot. And thank goodness for Gordon Lightfoot. So much Gordon Lightfoot that you would, we used to have Gordon Lightfoot jokes, like the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. I would like to fade that down before anybody gets hurt.
Right. Play it backwards so it has a happy ending.
Yeah, play it backwards so it has a happy ending. All of that stuff. But Gordon Lightfoot was a huge part of, because we have to play a certain amount of Canadian content when it comes to music. And Gordon Lightfoot was just so talented and so good and all of that stuff. But I once met Gordon Lightfoot, and that's why I just wanted. Yes. I worked, it was my best friend who's now still working in Winnipeg. And we were both, we were the program directors. I was at BX, he was at BK, same building. And we went to the big, conference weekend. Then they have the Junos on the Monday. That's what they used to do it that way. So we went down and went to a lot of parties and drank a lot of beer and really learned nothing. And then we got all dressed up and went to the Juno Awards, and then went to this after party. And at that Junos, they inducted Gordon Lightfoot into what they called, I think, the Canadian Recording Hall of Fame, which is now the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah.
And like he's in, there's like a Songwriters Hall of Fame. He should be in everything. He's like a companion of the Order of Canada, like the highest you can go.
He should be in everything.
Wow.
Anyway, so we go to this after party, and there is Gordon Lightfoot.
Ooh.
Gordon Lightfoot's in the room, right? And my friend in Winnipeg, his wife, adored Gordon Lightfoot. Just
really?
Loved Gordon Lightfoot to the point her father's name was Gord, and she loved Gordon Lightfoot so much that their first child they named Gordon.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Partly because of her dad, partly because of Gordon Lightfoot.
They love Gordon
She's
Lightfoot.
like, she sees him. Oh, I love Gordon Lightfoot. I said, well, go say hi to him. Oh, I couldn't. No, I couldn't do it. I said, well, I'll go say hi to him.
Yeah.
You know
Dave
me.
will do it.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go talk
Dave will march right up there.
I'll go talk to anybody.
Hey,
so
Gordon.
I did.
Hey there, Gordon.
I'm going to do my Gordon Lightfoot impersonation. Please don't be offended. If you are, I apologize in advance because it's not very good. And if you've never really heard Gordon off the cuff. So I meet Gordon Lightfoot. We explain where we're from. We play his music. And the first thing I said was, we really like your new song. I forget what the song, this was the late 80s. I forget what the song was. He had just released an album, a single. And, hey, we love your new song. And his first words were, well, I thought it was a great record, for Christ's sake.
Well, I liked it.
Yeah.
Clearly, somebody told him otherwise.
But not everybody likes it, for Christ's sake. I don't know what's up with that, for Christ's sake. That's my Gordon Lightfoot impression.
So funny.
I am not making that up. I will go to my grave. That's kind of what he sounds like.
It's funny because at these parties, you're not, the celebrities are there, the artists are there, but they're not interacting with fans.
No.
Because the fans aren't there. It's like industry people. So while radio, you are a fan of them, they're not talking to you as if you're a fan. So it's very, it is very natural and normal. So I love that.
That's my recollection. I played a lot of Gordon Lightfoot, and I got to meet him briefly. It was fun, and I've never forgotten.
That's so cool.
R.I.P. Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, if you would like to sponsor this fine podcast, you can.
Yes, you can. We've got sponsorships available, and if you want to know our rates, we've got rates for all budgets. And so you can email us at daverachelforman@gmail.com or send us a DM on Facebook or Instagram.
Sure.
And we'll get back to you. We'll send you the rates if you're interested, and you can see if that works with what you're looking for.
Shout out to our last sponsor, For Oxford.
Yes.
Angela sent us a message saying that I'm at For Oxford right now. They sponsor our football team. You guys need to come here.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, For Oxford, I do plan to go to For Oxford because it's in Woodstock. I have family in Woodstock, and we will be getting there. Sorry.
At least not in Ingersoll.
And you can buy. By the way, you can still buy us a coffee if for any silly reason you want to do that. We just take that money and it helps us keep the podcast going. So
yeah, because we have to pay for this streaming platform and all that kind of stuff. Somebody bought us 5 coffees. They didn't leave their name, but they say, you guys are awesome. I missed the show so much. Okay. So thank you for buying us 5 coffees. Somebody else bought us 4 coffees. Thank you very much. They didn't leave a message or a name. Everybody's anonymous. But you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/underwhelming. Underwhelming.
And if you want to specify that it should be split 2 ways instead of 3, because only one of us goes on 2 vacations a winter.
That's right.
You can do that.
That's right. So that the other two could go on 2 vacations in the winter too.
Oh.
That's right.
We still need to pay for this stuff, guys.
We do have a lot of comments to catch up on.
Okay.
Love Julie. This is a two-parter from 2 different people, unrelated but related. Julie says, I don't know if you guys know or not, but there is a mini putt in our mall in St. Thomas.
I did know that.
I've
heard that. Did you know that, Foreman? Because you moved before.
Yes, but Christmas time I went back and we played that mini putt.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
cool. Okay.
And in a recent podcast episode, I referenced that the woman whose shirt was too small may have been at the Elgin Mall falling out of said shirt.
Oh, boy.
While playing mini putt.
Right. And it wasn't me. I'll tell you that right now.
That was all commentary from Brian, who had previously texted us, Brian Hoover. Well, Brian says, I heard my comment, LOL. My girlfriend, who had listened to the episode, says that chick was in an itty-bitty sundress, and it was too itty-bitty for her.
Is that who you saw, Forman?
Wow.
No. Oh, there's more than
Brian.
one.
Yes. And he said, we were actually at Masonville Mall shopping, so the itty-bitty outfits have expanded to Masonville.
Okay.
Well, that's not surprising.
All right.
Yeah. We have a couple of emails because we were talking about how nobody watches NCIS and all the Chicagos and whatever, except Jeremy forces me to watch all the Chicago shows. Ellen emailed us and said, hey guys, I love your podcast. Just so you know, Foreman, I watch all of the NCISs and I have never missed an episode of Survivor. LOL.
How many NCISs are there?
I don't know. There's like 5 different kinds, isn't there? Or is that Law and Order?
At least. Who knows? Nobody's ever counted accurately. There's too many.
Nobody knows.
I don't even know what
count.
What does NCIS stand for? I don't even know that.
Nobody's ever figured that out too.
I don't know.
No,
Investigations.
They threw it out there and knew that no one would care to figure that out.
Nobody asks. We don't tell.
Anyway, Ellen says you guys rock. I love listening to your shows. I always wait a couple of weeks and then listen on a Sunday morning to them. You're always so great together. I love you all. Keep up the funnies. Thank you, Ellen. That's so nice. Okay. We also got one from Tanya who says, I just listened to the episode about the shows people don't or do watch. Again, we got so much reaction on the shows. It's so funny. And all you have to do is watch one episode of Fire Country. It's amazing, in my opinion, and so addictive. Let me know your opinions. Well, Tanya, my husband did put on Fire Country one day last week. And I didn't. It was fine. It actually was kind of a cool episode. It was fine. Okay, you're right.
Did you hear the news
you're
that
right, Tanya.
NBC, I think, canceled 911, but not 911 Lone Star, because, that's a different show. But then ABC is going to play the other one anyway and pick it up. 2 shows no one's ever watched, so it doesn't matter.
Is the Lone Star one with Rob Lowe?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's an impossible question.
I always wonder, why is every show on cable about cops or hospitals or now firefighters?
I don't know.
I thought there's endless scenarios.
I get confused. I thought Rob Lowe.
Find a different, do something different.
Rob Lowe in everything? Isn't he Isn't he?
No,
I
don't know. He's always on Instagram, which I love because his sons always troll him on Instagram. So everything
wasn't he on Parks and Rec? Wasn't he on Parks and Rec?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Wasn't he on the West Wing? Was he?
Yes.
Maybe was he on
Austin Powers?
Was he one of the friends? I don't know.
He's a popular actor.
Is he? Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, he is funny on Instagram, and his sons troll him, which is so even more hilarious.
Okay.
They comment and make fun of his posts.
All right. Okay.
Anyway. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in sponsoring our podcast, you can email us, or if you just want to send us a message, we love getting your emails. We love to read them on the show. Dave Rachel Forman with no E in Foreman. Dave Rachel Forman at gmail.com.
Yeah.